everyone. Welcome to the Talent Show. I'm your host, Tom Alexander. Like most of the people we'll be chatting with on the Talent Show, Todd Horton, CEO and founder of KangoGift, well, he's a man of several gifts, passions, and interests. But as our policy is to focus on just one, the talent or thing we'll be discussing today, is his prowess in navigating the notoriously treacherous world of, get this, online dating. Now that you're on the edge of your seat, unless of course you're driving, careful with that, we're going to take a quick word from one of our sponsors, and we'll be right back. Todd Horton, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great this holiday season and gearing up for a few dates, if I can brag.
Oh, terrific. Well, we want to hear all about that. And yes, we are recording this right at holiday time. We're just a couple of days away from Christmas and Hanukkah and all those great things that we celebrate this time of year. So, yeah, I appreciate your time and in joining us during this the hustle and bustle.
It is indeed a hustle and bustle. Though I was able to go on a good date this weekend, I still have Christmas shopping to do. So I think we know where my priorities are as a single guy.
Understood, understood. Well, I got to say, I've been happily married for over 30 years, so I've never done the online dating thing. I think carrier pigeon, was kind of the way of exchange at those days. But I would imagine the dating world is probably just as rough as it's ever been. No?
Yeah, dating is always rough, and I would appreciate if you were to tell me, what it was like in your day and for your generation. At the same time, we're dealing with a world where we lose control. Robots are telling us who we should consider. The apps are now writing things for us. And if I don't know what I want, I don't know how the other person is going to expect, what they want. So it's a little chaotic. But if it's okay, I want to put it on you. 30 years, so you deserve a little kudos for something like that. So
Thank you.
what's your secret? How did you make the first move?
That if I knew the secret, I would be a lot richer than I am. I don't know exactly. I will say that I lucked out. I just managed to find the right person at the right time at a really crazy period of my life. And 36 years of marriage, and add two more to that in terms of dating and all that stuff. So it's been, we're coming up on 4 decades together,
That's
which is
that
hard to believe.
that's no, that's
Um,
really impressive. And I will be sharing what I've picked up and how I connected to the world of HR. But just one more thing. What was your first move? How did you get her attention? Did she show interest in you or did you have to express interest in her?
okay, so I saw her
Uh-huh.
walk into my freshman year college a history class,
Okay.
and right away,
Yeah.
I just, I was like, wow, who's that?
Mhm.
And I was instantly attracted, but I found out through a friend that she was seeing somebody. I wasn't at the time, and so but I knew that. Well, okay,
Mhm.
moving on. And we wound up. She actually wound up. She was a music major, and I took a music class, which I did not do well in. So she helped me a little bit, tutored me a little bit. And but then we parted ways only because I wound up going to a different college. I transferred out and went to a different school, and we reconnected a few years later. My dad and his brothers had a movie theater. I was working at the movie theater, and she walked in with her dad one day to see Crocodile Dundee. Shows you how long ago this is.
Wow.
And one thing
That's
led to
not a
the
knife.
to the next, and hey, I know you, and it kind of rekindled there, started, and off we were.
You got the courage or the guts to go up to her in front of her dad and say, "Hey, it's me. You remember me?" That's good.
I waited for her dad to go into the auditorium first. She sort of hung back, and that's when I, put the magic together, if you will. I don't know.
That's
I don't know
awesome.
if I could do any of this today. I'm so out of practice.
Hey, you did it. And I think that's the fun thing is you just you know you waited and you put yourself out there. And I'm sure you
Yeah,
could rewrite history too. She let her dad go first, so she could wait behind for you. So you could always narrate it that way.
that's true. That's true. What is it? History's always written by perspective of the victor, I guess. But I don't. Maybe we were both victors that day. It worked out.
Exactly. Well, good.
But
So you have dating experience too. So you have credibility to be doing this interview. You have dating experience.
I have dating experience and I have plenty of marriage experience.
Good.
But
Well, yeah, don't
dating is
rush
an
it. We're not
entirely
there.
different world today because I honestly think I don't know how much I could function in today's world. But you're the expert here. We want to get your thoughts on this, and I should say that you're an inspiration. Really, to me, things look they could be grim, humiliating, and but you've sort of mastered, I think, mastered this art of dating in the 21st century amidst all this technology.
I think we have to define mastering, but I think you're general. So the idea of saying, Todd, as a single dude who's been dating for a little while, have you found your lane and have you gotten comfortable with yourself?
Yeah.
I think that's what I've mastered. I think this theme of dating, and if people aren't dating and they're listening to this just for the fun anecdotes, the fun thing is you have to be comfortable in your own skin because it really is rough out there. I was on one date with a woman, 3 dates in. I'm super interested. We did the dates. We drove go-karts. We had a nice meal. Third date in, I'm at dinner. And for me, being a little bit of a shy, cautious guy, I'm like, this is my move. I reach over to touch her hands and she winces in front of me at the restaurant and says, "What the heck are you doing? Don't do that here." And so that was one of my dating moments of saying, I haven't mastered this yet. I have to read the room a little bit better.
Wow. So and again, you said you were 3 dates in, and just a reach over to sort of touch your hand was off limits.
That was not only was it off limits, it was why was my mind, even there. So
Wow.
I think this when you lead off with the idea of mastering, it's what have I mastered? I've mastered in this rough and tumble world of dating. Just get comfortable being yourself and putting yourself out there because you really can't control how other people are gonna kind of respond to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Well, our guest is Todd Horton. Todd is the CEO and founder of Kango Gift. And Todd, your definition
Mhm.
of success in the world of online dating.
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit about that.
I think success. So building on the idea of like mastering what it feels like to be in your own skin, I invoke my Latin teacher from high school, Miss Ida Rosa. What she's helped me in dating in two ways. The first is by taking Latin for so many years. My vocabulary is decent, so I'm pretty good with words. And yes, I've written some letters and some poetry over the years. So I think the idea of success has been basically how in the dating world can you either slow down to
Mhm.
better understand what the other person wants and also successfully have the communication skills to pause and ask the other person just what are you about, like what not only what makes you happy, the cliche, but just what drives you. And that type of, we'll say, skill to just dial everything way back and understand the person as an individual without playing kind of what we think we need to do, that's been definitely most successful. Because this idea of getting out of my head or our heads collectively is a big theme. So I was talking to a friend last week with for the holiday season coming up. And while it's not dating, it's the same idea of success. So for them, they work at a company, billion-dollar company, household name, we all know them. And like everybody, the senior leaders got together and said, "Hey, we need to do a holiday party this year, but let's save some money." And so one of the executives put their hand up and said, "I have a fancy house. Let's come to my house." And what they did is they had the internal design team make amazing electronic invitations for the holiday party, send them out to everybody and say, "Hey everybody, holiday party Friday, take the day off, get ready," and all that stuff. So the response is, if we're equating it to dating, the introduction is great. People know each other, they get a great invite to a great party. The twist is 5 minutes later, there was a Google Doc email sent out which said, we're going to need people to clean up after the holiday party, Saturday morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., and please volunteer to clean up. So in the dating world, I think like if I have somebody over for dinner and then ask her to do the dishes, it's just kind of knowing, just slow down and don't assert yourself. Does that kind of feel like a lesson that well, we all need to learn?
Yeah, yeah, that would be a lesson learned for sure. And speaking of lessons, lessons are often learned from mistakes. And I assume that there's been some mistakes. If you might, or if you will, couple here, two or three mistakes you made, at least mistakes you feel comfortable, I should say, publicly sharing with our
Well,
audience.
when you say public, you mean for you, me, and the friends that are going to listen, right? It's not a, we're not going to put it on social media or anything, I assume, right?
Oh no, 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 no,
Okay,
no,
good.
no.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is this is no one's seeing this
Oh, good, good. Yeah, so I
or
think
hearing it. I mean,
so. Now I have name. I'm smart enough to not name names, but I think so. The best rookie mistake in dating is you put yourself out there, you go on the mobile apps, and as soon as somebody swipes on you, you look at their picture and you start to fantasize. Oh my God, how this person likes food. I like food. They like to walk. I walk. You all of a sudden you narrate a world in which you two are going to be together for the rest of your lives. And I think the rookie mistake was looking at people's profiles and just coming up with a happily ever after story. And then not only when you meet them are they totally different, but what I didn't appreciate in online dating is just because somebody swipes on you, that's not even a signal they want to talk to you. That just means they maybe were bored in the bed and just swiping randomly on people. So I think the first mistake was don't get too serious or think about if somebody could be a fit until you actually meet them in person. Uh, the second mistake, if I were to say the first one about just, over embellishing kind of, am I going to be a fit with this person? The second mistake is listening to a person who said, okay, I have a lot of experience and I want to try the strategy with you where we just get everything out. We get all the skeletons out of our closet. We say everything about our dirty laundry. And if we can communicate all of that right up front and get through that, then we're going to be a match made in heaven. And with a little bit of an organizational behavior psychology background, I was a little concerned because if the person you're talking to, you don't know their frame of reference, there's a chance for misinterpretation. So when I started talking about in my safe place of, oh my God, I did this and I did that, thinking she would not judge, there was a tremendous amount of judging and a little bit of this ain't going to work. So I think that idea of I'm going back to I'll use the Heinz ketchup reference. Just pour, let it go slow, and just kind of share slowly but with confidence.
right, right.
And the final mistake I've made is just, not dwelling on the past, which is a common dating experience, but this idea that I learned from doctors. I don't care how we got here. Let's just worry about the future. And I think that very simple kind of fun anecdote has been, very helpful to me.
Yeah, that's very good. I mean, that's helpful and very, very insightful. Let's talk about misconceptions. A lot of times, folks can go into this online dating and they think, oh gosh, it's going to go this way, or
Yeah.
historically, you know, this is what I've heard, blah blah blah. What would you say the common misconceptions people have
Yeah.
about online dating?
And thank you. So if you're listening, I appreciate that you listened to me being a little serious about dating and the mistakes and all that.
Yeah.
So this is where I'm going to kind of go behind the scenes of just to scare everybody straight on what to do. Because the first misconception is the idea that everyone comes from a good place and everyone has trust. So I've had people send people with knives to my parents' house. I've had background checks done on me.
Well, hold it. People with knives to your parents. Okay, so I can't let that one go.
So, okay.
Please explain.
So this
Do we need
was,
a disclaimer here? Do we need any, do I need to put up,
how about this? How about, well, Dateline NBC in New Jersey don't help dating so much because this was a scenario where met a person, at a like we met online, had dinner. Second date was fine, had coffee, and then third date, she asked for a picture of my driver's license. And on one hand, I found that to be a little funky. On the other hand, I was kind of like, well, I'm here in the parking lot of meeting her, about to walk in. So actually, I did that. Then, so that's fine. So then on the fourth date, I was trying to be romantic. There was a snowstorm, and I texted and I said, hey, to be spontaneous, why don't we go for a walk in the snow? And what happened there was her friends were trying to reach her to see if she was safe, and her cell phone battery died. And since they had a picture of my driver's license, her cousin, who was a cop, did a background check on me. Well, I've had multiple background checks, but for this background check was an address, and the address that came up was my parents' house. And so they sent people with knives to try to find me, which the story falls apart and logically in many places, but that's what happens.
Wow. Okay. Well, there you go. Word to the wise, folks.
Yeah. So, and I encourage the audience to think about the stories that have happened to them because, like, I know people who've, been somebody, meet up, they walk into the restaurant and they just say, I can't do this, and they just walk out. They don't stay for the meal. People who say you're not who you are, who you say you are. So just all those types of kind of fun, fun anecdotes. I
Right.
think another fun thing is the idea, is this that we put on masks and we kind of pretend to be, other people. So I think the idea of how do you kind of market ourselves, I think some people have the fun time of saying, I can pretend to be whoever I want to be. And what happens with that is you just kind of don't know what people are selling you when you're kind of on these dates. And I think that's an example of I was out on a date at a bar. Halfway through the date, she put her drink down, put her hand in her head, and she said, I can't believe this is where my life has come to. I'm just at a bar on a Wednesday night with some strange guy. So that didn't make me feel warm and fuzzy
Yeah.
with the
That
dating.
would that would yeah, it's a bit off-putting.
That was a little much. And then I think, this idea of waking up in the morning after you're thinking about, am I going to match with anybody or am I going to do, speed dating or get connected from a friend? You wake up and you have that kind of inspiration to check the dating apps, and then there's no new matches. And I think the way the dating apps kind of try to make you feel warm and fuzzy, they actually don't do a good job when they just say, there's nobody here for you today.
Yeah.
So that's a tough thing too, that people are always going to be waiting.
Yeah. I'm sorry. A long way to go to find out the store's closed, as they say, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Wow. Well, very, very interesting. Navigation, rules, do's and don'ts, if you will. Now we want to ask you, I think, what's on everybody's mind. What's your secret, Todd? But before we do, we're just going to take this quick word and we'll be right back. I'm speaking with Todd Horton. He's the CEO of KangoGift. This is The Talent Show. Back in a second. My name's Tom Alexander. This is The Talent Show. We're back with Todd Horton. And Todd, tell us, what is your secret? There may be some parallels between the business world and the dating world. Todd,
Mhm.
on both sides. So if there's a distinction or a similarity, let's hear all about it.
So if I understand correctly, you're asking me, Todd, you're in HR and you're dating. How are secrets held in both worlds? So I don't want to come on the show and say there's secrets in HR. I
Right.
think the secret to being a leader of an HR company where we work with people all the time and also dating is the idea that you really do have to go beyond the layers and just understand who people are. And what I mean by that is just ask them questions. How do they define a great day? What motivates them? Then communicate what the impact they have on you. So while I'm turning this into kind of a communication discussion, it's the mapping to the HR world that when we apply for a job, we put our best foot forward. When we go on the first date, we put our best foot forward. The first 90 days are usually good in both dating and at a company. And then we fire people, sometimes just worse than when we break up with people. Ghosting is a thing. Um, I don't know if we do 2 weeks notice in dating. Usually you just break up
No
on the
severance
spot.
package. There's
No
no.
severance. Well, that's for marriage, I guess. But in
Well, that's
dating,
definitely for marriage. Yeah, there's a severance
so
package there.
exactly, exactly. So I think for someone like me who grew up in the world of HR, going through compensation and recruitment and organizational behavior and now training, it's the theme that not only do you have to understand the person and what motivates them, but tailor the experience, to them. I think that's been a good takeaway.
Yeah. How is your prowess and success as an online dater made you a better CEO? I'm assuming it has. It's informed a little bit your role as CEO.
No, and I think I'm having a chance to, talk about something fun and silly like this at the end of the year, coming off of a year where the company grew nicely, we hired, employee retention has been really good. And I think there's this idea that I forget who wrote the book, but if you do something for 10,000 hours, you probably won't be that bad at it. So there's this idea that, putting in practice and getting yourself out there, you just get better over time, no matter what your skill set is. I think the what I refer to as euphemistically the nerdy takeaway is, building a company is not only hard, but how do you build something that's, sustainable, especially in the world we're in right now? And I think, looking at it through the lens of leadership, when I was in grad school at Yale, thinking about leadership, they taught us there are three ways to grow a company. The theory one is essentially the Silicon Valley idea, hire the top 5% of the world who are the smarty pants and everything, and then give all the resources to the superstars, and those superstars will take you everywhere. And that obviously works until the superstars want to go someplace else. And so you have a lot of ups and downs, with those companies. Then the other most common way to build a company is the idea of, listen to your customers. So the good news about that is as you build your organization, customers tell you what they want and what they value, and you're always busy, doing stuff, for them. And that helps you grow, and basically go with the market. The challenge is sometimes the employees don't feel like you're an innovative company because you're always waiting for the customer to tell you what to do instead of trying to, skip over them and do the next thing. So for me, what's worked building a company over the past 15 years is what's called the commitment theory of organizational behavior. And the commitment theory is this super personalized way of building an organization where employees not only enjoy the values and the benefits that you offer, but you tailor the work experience to what people want. So there's a little bit of humor. They may not make as much money as they would as being a superstar, but the company gives them exactly what they value when they value it because life has its ups and downs. And so when you're ready to crank out and earn money, you put in the extra effort and company gives you projects for that stuff. But when you need to take a step back, the company's there for you. So I think this commitment theory is one of the fun things that when we were brainstorming about podcasts like this is how it kind of relates to dating is once you understand people, it makes it feel easier than it needs to be.
Makes a lot of sense. And again, very insightful, very helpful. Todd, we have one last important question before we go. But before we do that, just a quick hello from one of our fellow work defined podcasters. Back in just a moment. Wrapping things up now on the talent show. Todd, last question. What's the one talent you wish you had? And you just trying to figure that out. If you could just have one, what would it be?
Just one, you said.
Just one.
I
Now
think
that one may have, several components, but
Sure, sure.
let's stick with
So, okay, so if I could have a wish to do something, I think it would be to just literally change myself for a little while because I'm fortunate that I'm seeing a woman now. We had the exclusive conversation, which for the people that follow dating, it's not a situationship, it's not a friends with benefits. It's actually we're trying to date and it's just us. And the dating apps are off. So we these days you have to clarify everything. But when I asked her, when she was out there looking, what was she looking for? She said when she closed her eyes, she wanted a 6'2" blonde finance bro who was super alpha to kind of sweep her off her feet and show her the world. And I am, I'm pretty close to that. I am a 5'9", brown-haired, kind of, we'll say skinny, nerdy type of guy who works in the soft world of HR. So I think if I could change myself for a second to kind of see if people really, if they want what they think they want, or if they're going to change their minds, that would be helpful.
Well, I guess that could be described as a talent.
You're
And I
very
should say
welcome.
that when my wife told me that when she was a little girl, she's always thought she would marry somebody, tall, dark, handsome,
Uh-huh.
and rich. So
Yep.
that's 4 out of 4 that she gave up. But I'm still here. So
You met in the middle. You didn't even meet in the middle. She just she just
no,
went.
there was no, unfortunately, no compromise. I guess that's it. Uh, Todd, I said this was our last question, but I lied a little bit. If you would, just on the way out, tell our audience briefly what you do at KangoGift. What does KangoGift do?
Thank you. So on the work side, so we are an HR company that's been around for 15 years, and we focus on three things. So employee recognition, corporate training, so helping young managers communicate more effectively, and also engagement. So coming up with programs that make people feel a little bit more valued. So if anything, we're the HR vendor that's going a little bit against the grain of AI and making sure people have the people skills to kind of lead the workforces.
Terrific, terrific. KangoGift. Tell folks where they can find KangoGift.
So the name of the company is KangoGift, and we go to market as KangoHR.com.
KangoHR.com. That's KangoHR.com. My guest is the CEO and founder of KangoGift, and we really appreciate it. Todd Horton. Thank you so much, Todd.
Thank you very much, Tom. This was good. Thank you.
This is The Talent Show. I'm Tom Alexander. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time. So long, everybody.